I am Georgia Irby, Professor of Classical Studies, and the title of my lecture is Sea Monsters! Oh, brave new seas that have such monsters in them. We have this very long, millennia relationship with the sea monster. When people were crossing the Mediterranean, they encountered monsters. When people were crossing the Atlantic, they imagined that there were all of these really bizarre sea monsters. The Greeks and Romans considered sea monsters to be avatars of raw nature. They're trying to control nature, so they create the sea monster, they put the sea monster in the storm, or the sea monster creates a storm, and we can't control the storm, we can't conquer the storm, but we can kill the sea monster. And by killing the sea monster, we gain control over the natural world. Broadly, the lecture is about how sea monsters come into being. So I'm looking at biological creatures of the sea who inspire sea monsters. I'm looking at mythical creatures of the sea. And I'm also talking about what the sea monsters mean, what they symbolize. You should come to the lecture because you may or may not be finally convinced that Nessie exists. When I was a graduate student with no money, I went to Inverness to see Nessie. I prefer to be imaginative and creative and generous, and I don't like taking things too literally because I think it's more fun to let your imagination run sway. One thing that I tell my students more than once is check your disbelief at the door and just enjoy the stories.